is passing through.
Hi, I'm new in the area and I just wanted to find out what was going on here, what this is all about.
We are a recovery community center. We offer a variety of programs. We have computers for people to use if they need to print a resume or fill out a job application. We have all recovery meetings here Monday through Friday at 12:30 to 1:30. We have recovery coaches available if you need individualized help. There's here, actually, let me give you a calendar of our events.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And how did you come to be here?
I'm a person in recovery and I'm volunteering here. It's providing structure for me right now, and I like the vibe here. So I just try to come here every day if I can.
Online so I can get onto the computer, pull out my resume, apply for jobs, and figure out what I'm going to do for my next steps.
Okay. And how did you find out about this service?
I have been coming to CCAR since 2015, and I found out about it because I would come to the nighttime meetings here, and some people at the nighttime meetings told me about the center, so I started coming here. And when I started coming here during the day, I started hanging out and found out about what there was to offer.
Okay.
Hi, this is Dave with the Telephone Recovery Support Program. How can I help you with your recovery today? Yeah, that's great. Good to hear that. Well, that's what we're here for. We're here to provide that support. In any way that you're trying to end the recovery, we are that way. Excellent. There's plenty of resources at that facility. Yes. Willimantic, Hartford, and Bridgeport. So Bridgeport would probably be the closest one to you. Right. Okay, great. Yes. You know what? That worked for me when I first got into recovery myself. I'm glad to hear that, you know. Yep, that helped me too. Yeah, that's the funny thing. We noticed that we're not that much different, or not as different as we thought that we were actually. No, believe me, this helps me calling you just as much as I can imagine it helps you. You know, helping others in my recovery is what keeps me sober today. I could guarantee that. So, definitely, I'm not in debt. You're not in debt to me. If anything, I'm in debt to you. Great. Great, yes. Absolutely. Okay. Well, do you mind if we give you a call again next week then? All right, great. Well, you have yourself a great day. Have yourself a great weekend, all right? There, Bill? Okay, bye-bye. My name's Dave Elward. Originally, I am from Southern Connecticut, but I've been living here in Willimantic now for 7 years. I came out here in 2011 when I got out of rehab. I was a heroin addict, a cocaine addict, pretty much anything. I called myself a trash can for a long time. You know, the funny thing is it was 2011 where I finally went to rehab, but recovery's been a part of my life for most of my life. I was a little kid that you used to see in the back of NA meetings when I was growing up with family members. So for me, it wasn't a huge step coming into meetings because it was almost like coming home, but it was strange for me actually going to the meetings and being a part of the meetings as someone in recovery. One of the things I realized really quickly that recovery for me wasn't going to be possible in the area where I grew up, the area I used, that I needed a fresh start, and I just needed a change. And that's when I came out to live in the sober houses in Willimantic when I left the Carnes Week Center. And when I first got out here, my thought was I'm going to be living in a sober house for 3 months, and then I'm going to be going back to the area that I was from. And that was 7 years ago. I am out here, and now I actually have worked in sober housing facilities throughout these 7 years. And what came as a place that I lived in out of necessity has actually become a lot more to me now, and something I have a great interest in and participating in. I first got to Willimantic out of rehab, but that doesn't mean I've been sober for that long. My sober date was August 15th of 2015, though I did have a few years sober before that. I had a relapse in early recovery after a couple of years because I stopped doing anything. I thought that things had gotten better in my life, so I didn't need to work in recovery meetings. I didn't need to branch out into the recovery community anymore. I just started working, and before you knew it, I ended up relapsing. So when I came back in 2015, I made it a goal to myself that things were going to be different this time. For me, I also do a lot of work with the Epilepsy Foundation. It was a major complication. I found out that to have my device installed to help control my epilepsy, that I needed to have a period of recovery, and that once the device came in, that the dangers of drug use, although they're already so bad, would be magnified by that much more. And basically I knew at that moment, I thought that I blew it when I relapsed, but they told me, get it together and we'll still give you the surgery. That surgery was actually, today is it was October 16th of 2015, which was a little over 3 years ago. And this device that they implanted in my chest with this device here to stop the seizures motivated me in a lot of ways to get my life back together. I was like, you worked this hard to get these seizures under control that you need to stay proactive in your health. And I go, what's the point of going through all this work to get all this equipment and medical attention if I'm just going to go out and do drugs and have drug-related seizures afterwards? You know, it was a real turning point for me. I finally realized that, I wasn't, right now I'm 33. I realized I wasn't 18 anymore. I used that excuse that I was young and partying and having fun for way too long. Learning about my health conditions. It's funny because a lot of people would say being diagnosed with a disorder is a bad thing, but in reality, the seizures are probably what saved my life. Because if it wasn't for the seizures, I'd say probably a 75 to 80% chance I'd be dead of an overdose by then. And, I started volunteering down here when I was coming close on 3 years this time around. Because once again, I realized I needed to do more in my recovery. And I wasn't sure exactly what I could bring to the table. I knew that there were definitely things that I could bring to the table, including one thing I also noticed was a lot of time I would be in recovery and people would have a sad or a depressed or a bad attitude. Me, I try so hard to see the good things in life. I dabbled in comedy when I was younger, and one day, now that, my life isn't as dark anymore, I hope to be able to get up on stage and do that again. I want to be a positive member of society today. I want to be someone that people could come into this center and go, you know what, I've had a hard day, but I could sit there and talk to Dave for a little while, have a laugh, smile, and feel better when it's over. And, you know, this center has given me so many tools to be able to do that. You know, once again, you know, going through the whole recovery process myself, you know, and on August 15th, I actually did achieve 3 years for the first time ever. But I'll tell you, it was a dark spot for me for those probably 3 to 4 months before that 3 years, where I wasn't, every day was a real battle like it was in the beginning. And that's when CCAR really saved my life. I mean, I would get up and I'd be here for opening and I'd stay till close every single day. And I still credit CCAR to this third year coin that I have. In fact, one day I'd like to drop it off here because it wouldn't have been possible without this place. You know, one thing I had to remind myself in recovery is to try different things. You know, I did the same thing for far too long in my life that, you know what, I have the opportunity today to participate in training classes. I have the opportunity to meet people from different areas who have different positions. You know, just the ability to learn, the ability to, for my mind to grow and to be able to harness this knowledge and help others with it is something that, you know, I never appreciated when I was younger, but I truly appreciate today. And, you know what, I could truly say that CCAR almost became a surrogate family for me. You know, I love being a part of the events. I love being able to represent this facility in a positive way. You know, and frankly, I feel like it's the beginning for my volunteering here in CCAR. You know, a lot of people know me from town, but you know what, I feel like I'm just starting to scratch the surface of how involved I really want to be. And you know what, I need to remind myself to keep putting myself out there. You know, I isolated for far too long. And, you know, that's, if I was going to make any point during speaking here, it would be isolation was a horrible thing for me. Isolation when I first started having seizures was one of the major factors that led to my drug use. I was so afraid to leave the house because I was so embarrassed about who I was and my disorder that I would rather stay home than have a seizure in front of my friends. You know, but also at that time, I didn't really have as many friends. I had people that were party pals and stuff of that. You know, I realized I was falling into those isolation patterns again. And you know what? I'm not going to lie and say every day is easy for me to come down here. But I know that people rely on me, and I rely on these people on a daily basis. You know, I probably don't necessarily for my recovery need to be here every day, but you know what? I don't know which day is the day I need to be here. So I come every day because I never know when that incident's going to be. And you know what? This place, like I said, it's become a family to me in a lot of ways. You know, I rely on the volunteers here. You know, they're just as much as anyone who walks through this door. You know, there are days where it's a very gray area, whether I'm a volunteer or just somebody coming in here in desperate need of help. And you know what? I know that the help I need is here for myself, and then on other days I know that I'm been given the grace that I'm able to help other people on days where I'm able to. I think so highly of this place that my brother was recently dealing with a drinking disorder, and I had him come up here from halfway across the state just to speak with the center. And I'll tell you, it turned out to be a good thing for him. You know, I can't advocate for this place enough. And you know, when I first entered recovery, I didn't say too many great things about the place because I had an uneducated opinion. Once I really got in here, learned what is done, how things are done, and just became grateful to be a part of that team, it made my life that much better. And you know, for me today, disabled or not, I still have a little structure in my life by volunteering here at CCAR. And that structure is something that I need so much that I can't even put into words how much I need that structure. You know, and to tell you the truth, if you told me when I was actively getting high that I would be volunteering 7 years later, I would have told you that you were absolutely crazy. You look at me now, There was a time where I had long hair going down here, I had a bandana across my forehead, a beard going down, and I wouldn't help an old lady put groceries in her car unless she paid me $1. And you know what? I'm joking about that, but that's not a proud moment in my life. But that is truly who I am, and I got to remind myself that's who I am when I use. And that's not the person that I want to be today. And you know what? This place, I feel like it helps me become a better person every day. You know, I have defects that I wasn't even aware of until I came down here. And Nate and John and just the people come in and made me aware of so many things I need help with. And then I think one of the greatest things about this place is knowing that when things go tough, because God knows it's life and things are hard sometimes, it's an inevitable thing, that this place will be here for me. And you know what, I think I could sleep a lot easier at night knowing no matter how bad what's going on at that moment is, that I'll be able to go back to my safe haven and get into what makes me feel happy again the next morning. And you know what, like I said, it's just become something that's pivotal in my recovery, whether it be the afternoon meetings, whether it be just sitting down for one-on-ones with people in the community, whether it be the extracurricular events that I love to go to. I never know, when I wake up in the morning, I never know what is going to impact my life that day when I come into the center. But I do know that there's going to be impact on my life just from walking through these doors. And, you know, right now, I'm happy with who I am. You know, I live in sober houses. I work for sober houses. You know, there's a lot of shame with that for a while. But, you know, I realize now that I need to work and take care of myself. And, you know, taking care of myself, I'll never be able to help anybody unless I take care of myself. And, you know what? I feel like it could be an addiction helping people to a degree. And this place has taught me how to help people in a productive way where I'm not hurting them and I'm still taking care of myself. And, you know, I look forward to the events that happen here. You know, whether it be the Halloween bash that's happening in a couple weeks, which has always been a favorite of mine since I've got here, or just the third Thursdays, which ended for the year, going out and being part of the community. With CCAR, I feel like Willimantic has become a home for me. And you know what? I'm proud of that today, which is something I couldn't have said 7 years ago when I walked into this town, excuse me. So that pretty much wraps up my story about getting out here. You know, I just try to make it a daily thing, is to try to be the example. You know, if I'm going to close with anything, was my business card when I worked for an old sober house was be the change you want to see in the world. I could say that every day, that I am being the change that I want to see in the world. And thank you very much for listening.
Hi, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Willimantic All Recovery meeting. We welcome all people who struggle with addiction, are affected by someone else's addiction, and or support the recovery lifestyle. An All Recovery meeting is not part of any 12-step, AA, NA, or any other anonymous fellowship, though you may hear many comments commonly associated with those fellowships. Now, let's have a moment of silence to remember why we are here. Thank you. Coming from a place of mutual respect and understanding, let's observe some basic meeting agreements. Number 1, please respect the opinions and thoughts of others. 2, please let's have only one person speak at a time. 3, please turn all cell phones off or put them on vibrate. 4, please refrain from the overuse of profanity in order not to offend others. 5, please refrain from crosstalk. And let's begin by introducing ourselves. And how you introduce yourself is completely up to you. My name is Dave, and I'm a person in recovery. This is a topic discussion meeting, and the topic I have chosen for today is having fun in recovery, or being positive in recovery. Please feel free to share on the topic or anything that you feel will enhance your recovery today. Please be mindful of the amount of people in the room and the amount of time you share. And I'll get it kicked off with speaking about having fun in recovery. Well, you know, the thing about having fun in recovery was I wasn't having any fun in active addiction. So it's been a major mission of mine to have fun in recovery. And one of the best ways for me I found to have fun in recovery was by coming down to the CCAR Center, because I've actually realized that there were so many events in recovery that I wasn't even aware of. You know, I thought I was going to be sitting in a basement at a meeting for the rest of my life. Now I'm drawing pictures of pumpkins and possibly other Halloween type activities, you know? It's all out here, you know, the fun's out here. It's up for us as addicts, alcoholics, or whatever we are, people in recovery, to find that fun and make the best of it, in my opinion. So I'm going to send it out to the floor. If there's anyone who'd like to share on the topic or anything that will enhance your recovery, please feel free.
Thanks, Dave. Right? A, C, F. Comfortable? Get your hands off my friends, between you and me. You can't trap me in my head, as long as I wanna be free. Wanna be free. How does the rest of it go? This is a song I wrote for a guy who's one of my volunteers who died of overdose. Last year, a year ago, on Father's Day. I think he and I are very close. He and Dave are very close. Keep your hands off my friends, between you and me. You can't trap me in my head, as long as I wanna be free. Wanna be free. I can see through your game, and I know what is true. I'm no victim of shame, if I let the love shine through. You know it too. I always used to feel like crying. I was acting like a clown. The light inside of me was dying. I had to put this shovel down. I'm gonna miss you. I'm gonna miss you. I've got to harness the light. Look under the bed. Surrender my plight. Reach for hope instead. How about that, friend? Ego aside. Get my ass off the shelf. Abandon my pride. Look at that place called no self. strength that comes from weakness changes darkness into light, conquers terminal uniqueness, changes blindness into sight. I'm gonna miss you, oh, oh. I'm gonna miss you, oh. I'm gonna miss you, oh, oh, oh. Amarillo by morning, drums and a tone. Everything that I got is just what I got on. But when that sun is high in that Texas sky, I'll be bucking up the county fair. That's country. Amarillo by morning, Amarillo, I'll be there. Just play it through without saying it once so I can like figure out where the progression's going.